The Prince, by Niccolò Machiavelli, is an iconic work that endures as a fundamental milestone in political theory and reflections on the exercise of power. Written in the early 16th century, the book is dedicated to Lorenzo de' Medici, a member of the ruling family of Florence, and offers a realistic and pragmatic look at politics, outlining strategies for the acquisition, maintenance, and exercise of power by rulers. This video presents timeless lessons that explore the interplay between virtue and fortune, the relationship between the ruler and the people, and the importance of alliances and political prudence. This challenging and controversial work continues to stimulate debates, influence thinkers, and offer valuable insights into the political world and its complexities. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? There's nothing better for a starting channel than gaining a new follower. This action gives us motivation to produce new content. Our channel posts several videos weekly with book summaries that contribute to your personal and professional development. Follow us. The main fundamental lessons on politics and governance can be detailed in the following teachings. The nature of politics and power. Machiavelli establishes politics as a practical art that seeks to understand how power is acquired, maintained, and exercised. He describes politics as an activity inevitably imbued with conflicts and rivalries. Practical example: the president of a democratic republic seeks to gain power through electoral campaigns, alliances with other parties, and strategies to influence public opinion. In the process, he faces political competitors and diverse interests vying to control the state and its resources. Virtù and Fortuna. These are two key concepts in Machiavelli's political philosophy. Virtù represents the prince's ability, courage, cunning, and wisdom to face challenges and achieve his goals. Fortuna refers to unpredictable external events that affect political life, such as accidents, crises, or unexpected alliances. Practical example: a skilled general leads his army in a battle against a superior enemy in numbers and resources. His virtù, which includes intelligent strategy, charismatic leadership, and personal courage, is essential to overcome adversity and achieve victory. However, Fortuna also plays a role, such as the unexpected arrival of allied reinforcements, aiding in the conquest. Necessary actions. In certain situations, the prince must be capable of acting cruelly or deceptively to ensure the security and stability of the state. He emphasizes that the end justifies the means, as long as it benefits the stability and power of the ruler. Practical example: a leader of a nation faces an internal terrorist threat. To protect the country and its citizens, he authorizes secret operations and invasive surveillance measures, which may be considered cruel by some but are perceived as necessary to prevent attacks and ensure national security. Relationship between ruler and people. Machiavelli discusses the importance of being loved and feared but also highlights the need to avoid being hated by the people. A prince must be able to balance these feelings to maintain the support and obedience of the people. Practical example: a popular monarch rules his kingdom with justice and wisdom, meeting the needs of the people and ensuring their protection. He is loved and respected for his benevolent actions and his ability to listen to the demands of the people. Use of force and virtue. The ruler must be capable of using force when necessary to protect the state and its citizens. However, virtue is also essential to lead the people towards the common good and achieve political stability. Practical example: a ruler faces a rebellion led by an armed group. He uses military force to suppress the revolt but, at the same time, works to improve the social and economic conditions of the population, seeking to build a fairer and more harmonious society. Alliances and betrayal. It is important to warn about the fickle nature of men and the importance of being cautious in alliances. He mentions that princes must be ready to break promises or alliances if they jeopardize the security of the state. Practical example: a leader of a nation, amidst a complex web of political alliances, realizes that a close ally is secretly conspiring with a potential enemy. To preserve the security of his country, he breaks ties with this treacherous ally, despite past promises of cooperation. Ministers and advisors. the choice of good ministers and advisors is vital for the ruler. It is important to listen to sincere and valuable advice, avoiding being influenced by flatterers who may lead the prince astray. Practical example: a president selects his ministers based on their skills, experience, and integrity. He listens to diverse advice before making important decisions, avoiding being influenced by people who seek only to please him and surrounding himself with sincere and experienced advisors. How can we apply Machiavelli's teachings in daily life? The teachings can be adapted to everyday contexts, especially in environments where there are political games, negotiations, leadership, or strategic decision-making. Although Machiavelli's ideas were originally formulated for princes and rulers, some principles can be useful in broader situations. Understanding the political nature of interactions, recognize that political dynamics are present in many aspects of life, whether at work, in social groups, or in the community. This implies being aware of the interests and conflicts of different parties involved and being prepared to handle them strategically. Balancing virtue and fortune, cultivate relevant skills, virtue, to achieve goals and objectives. Additionally, be aware that unpredictable circumstances, fortune, can also influence outcomes, allowing for adaptation to unexpected changes. Adopting a pragmatic approach, acknowledge that, in some situations, it may be necessary to make tough decisions and face challenges with flexibility. Understand that the most ethical or pleasant actions are not always the most effective in achieving desired results. Maintaining healthy and constructive relationships, balancing the need to be loved and respected by others is important in any social context. Avoid behaviors that lead to contempt or hatred while building genuine alliances and connections with people. Being cautious with allies and advisors, be vigilant about others' intentions and seek advice from different sources to make informed decisions. Avoid being influenced by individuals who may pursue their own interests at the expense of larger goals. Being strategic in negotiations. In negotiation or conflict resolution situations, understanding the needs and motivations of involved parties is essential. Adopt an approach that allows for advantageous outcomes, even if it requires concessions or less popular measures. Developing effective leadership. Balancing empathy and firmness is crucial in a leadership role. This includes making tough decisions when necessary but also seeking the trust and respect of the team. It is important to emphasize that applying Machiavelli's teachings in daily life requires discernment and ethical consideration. Not all principles may be directly applicable or morally acceptable in all contexts. Responsible interpretation and adaptation of his ideas are essential to ensure actions align with ethical and moral values. The Prince, by Machiavelli, has been subject to numerous criticisms over the centuries. Some of the main criticisms are as follows. Amorality and immorality. Many critics argue that Machiavelli's ideas promote an immoral or even immoral approach to politics. His teachings on the use of cruelty, deception, and manipulation to secure power are often seen as contrary to ethical principles. Excessive focus on power. Some critiques assert that the book places excessive emphasis on the pursuit and maintenance of power at the expense of other important values, such as justice, equality, and the overall well-being of society. Lack of consideration for morality. It seems to overlook the importance of morality and ethics in a ruler's actions. Its pragmatic approach may lead to an implicit justification of unethical actions in the name of stability and power. Pessimistic view of human nature. Some critics argue that Machiavelli has a pessimistic and cynical view of human nature, considering men as selfish and fickle. This perspective can be deemed unpleasant and simplistic. Specific context of absolute rulers. The Prince was written in a specific context of absolute rulers and political realities of the time. Therefore, some critiques argue that his ideas may not easily apply to other forms of government, such as modern democracies. Absence of democratic values. The ideas are often seen as incompatible with the fundamental values of democracy, such as popular participation, transparency, and governmental accountability. Ignores the role of civil society. Some critiques point out that the prince focuses solely on the figure of the ruler and neglects the importance of civil society and the active participation of citizens in governance and politics. Questionable practical results. Some critics argue that Machiavelli's principles may lead to short-term consolidation of power but, in the long run, may harm stability and social cohesion. Despite these criticisms, it is important to note that The Prince is a significant historical work and continues to be studied and discussed to this day. Many argue that the realistic and pragmatic approach still holds value as an analysis of the complexities of politics and power. However, its application should be viewed with care, considering contemporary ethical, moral, and political contexts. Despite being written over 500 years ago, The Prince still offers important contributions to the modern world. Some of the main contributions are: political realism. The Prince is considered one of the first works to adopt a realistic approach in politics. Instead of focusing on utopian ideals, the work addresses politics as it is, recognizing the complex and often conflicting nature of power and governance. Analysis of power and leadership. It provides insightful analysis on the acquisition and maintenance of power. Its lessons on leadership, strategy, and decision-making are still applicable in contemporary political, business, and social contexts. Understanding political dynamics. The ideas help understand political dynamics at various levels, from power struggles in governments to negotiations and relationships in professional and social environments. Flexibility and adaptation. It emphasizes the importance of adapting to changes and unforeseen circumstances that occur in the political landscape. This lesson remains relevant in a world undergoing constant political, social, and technological transformations. Political pragmatism. The pragmatic approach encourages leaders to make rational and effective decisions, considering practical outcomes, even if they are not always aligned with ethical ideals. The role of realism in international relations. The lessons are often discussed in international relations studies, where realist analysis is applied to understand the interests and behaviors of states on the global stage. Strategic thinking. The work stimulates strategic thinking, risk assessment, and informed decision-making. These skills are essential for leaders and professionals facing complex and uncertain challenges. Philosophical and political debates. The Prince continues to generate debates about ethics, morality, and the responsibilities of leaders. Its ideas provoke critical reflections on the nature of politics and governance. Importance of authority and stability. The work highlights the importance of centralized authority and stability for maintaining power. This theme remains relevant in issues of governance, security, and public order. How should the prince act to succeed? To succeed, the prince, or any contemporary leader, can learn from Machiavelli's teachings, adapting them to the current ethical and moral context. Balancing love and fear. A leader must seek to be loved by their people but also feared when necessary. The ability to balance these two qualities can ensure loyalty and respect from citizens. Acting with virtue, being skillful, wise, courageous, and just are characteristics that can enhance a leader's ability to make wise decisions and gain the trust of those around them. Being pragmatic, recognizing that, in certain situations, difficult actions may be necessary to achieve larger goals. However, it is crucial to maintain a long-term vision and consider the overall well-being of society. Forming strong alliances, seeking support and collaboration with other leaders and countries can strengthen the prince's position and ensure greater security for the state. Choosing reliable advisors. Surrounding oneself with experienced and sincere advisors who can offer varied and realistic opinions is crucial for making informed decisions. Being responsible and transparent. Demonstrating responsibility to the citizens and transparency in actions can increase the people's trust in the leader. Avoiding tyranny. It is essential to avoid excesses in the use of power, such as tyranny, which can lead to instability and hatred from the people. Investing in defense and security. Ensuring the defense of the state and the security of citizens is a priority to maintain stability and prevent external threats. The Prince, by Machiavelli, remains a timeless and thought-provoking work, whose ideas have echoed through the centuries. By offering a realistic and demystified view of politics, the book teaches that power is inherently complex, requiring the wisdom of virtue to face the unpredictable challenges of fortune. Although cruel and pragmatic actions may be seen as controversial, the lessons on leadership, strategy, and diplomacy continue to inspire leaders and scholars in the pursuit of effective governance. The Prince remains a call to prudence and discernment, inviting us to reflect on the complexities of politics and the eternal quest for power and stability, adapting its lessons to a constantly evolving world. We are here to help you in your personal development and make you reflect on factors that lead to improvements in your life. Subscribe to our channel and have access to book summaries with exclusive and informative content. Leave a like. It's the easiest and quickest way to show us that we are on the right track and motivate us to produce more content. In the description, we left 3 other video links from the channel that will make you a better person in your personal and professional life, related to this theme.